wind swept across Enugu, carrying with it the dusty whispers of a nation on the brink. It was January 15th, 1966. Nkem, a young university lecturer, sat in his modest home, unaware that the events of the coming hours would carve deep scars into the heart of his people. Nigeria, a country hastily stitched together by colonial hands, was a boiling pot of ethnic tensions. The independence of 1960 had brought hope, but the euphoria had quickly waned. Corruption, ethnic favoritism, and political unrest defined the first years of the nation. Nkem often debated with his friends about the future of the country. As an Igbo man, he believed in hard work, merit, and unity. But he was not blind to the growing resentment against his people in other regions. That night, Nkem was woken by hurried knocks on his door. It was Chidi, his cousin, a soldier stationed at the nearby barracks. "Nkem, something big has happened," Chidi whispered, his voice trembling. "There's been a coup. Soldiers have taken over in Lagos, and it seems like the old order is being dismantled." Nkem's heart raced. A coup? It was both terrifying and exhilarating. "What does it mean for us, Asiki Sapuari Tasachisa?" he asked, his mind racing with possibilities. Chidi hesitated. "The men behind it, they're mostly our people. Major Nziogwu, Major Ifia Juna. They say they're trying to save Nigeria from the corruption and division." By dawn, the news had spread like wildfire. The Prime Minister, Tafawa Balewa, was missing. Ahmadu Bello, the Sardauna of Sokoto, was dead. Premier Samuel Akintola of the Western region had also been killed. It seemed like a surgical strike against the old northern-dominated political elite. At first, many Igbo people, including Nkem, felt a sense of relief. For years they had been blamed for the country's problems, accused of arrogance because of their successes in commerce, education, and governance. Perhaps this coup was a way to reset the nation. But as days turned into weeks, the optimism faded. Though the coup's masterminds claimed they sought national unity, the ethnic undertones could not be ignored. Many in the north began to see it as an Igbo conspiracy to dominate Nigeria. Nkem heard whispers in the market, in the church, even at the university. "The Igbos think they own Nigeria," some muttered. "This is their way of taking over." By May 1966, the air was thick with resentment. When General Aguiyi Ironsi, an Igbo officer, took control as head of state, tensions escalated. Nkem was proud of Ironsi's leadership, but he feared the consequences of his unification decree, which sought to abolish Nigeria's federal structure. The North interpreted it as a move to strip them of their autonomy. Then came the massacres. In July, a counter-coup erupted. Ironsi was killed. Northern soldiers, fueled by revenge, took to the streets, slaughtering Igbo civilians. Nkem received news of family members butchered in Kano. Chidi too disappeared during the chaos. Enugu became a sanctuary for fleeing Igbos. Nkem's home overflowed with relatives and strangers, each with harrowing tales of escape. The dreams of a united Nigeria felt like a cruel joke. It was during one of those nights, as he listened to a widow recount the loss of her husband and children, that Nkem made his decision. If Nigeria would not protect his people, then perhaps his people needed their own nation. The seeds of Biafra were already being sown in the minds of Igbos across the land. As Nkem looked out at the Harmattan haze, he realized that the events of January 15th, 1966, had been more than a coup. They were the beginning of an unraveling. A reminder that Nigeria's wounds were far deeper than anyone had imagined. In the years to come, Nkem would join the movement for Biafra, fighting not for domination, but for survival. The coup had not only reshaped Nigeria, it had reshaped him, transforming a hopeful academic into a soldier of circumstance. And so the Harmattan winds carried on, whispering stories of betrayal, survival, and the undying spirit of a people determined to write their own destiny.